Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us. I'm so glad to have Marcy with us today. Marcy's with Alma Waterways, and as you know, Alma Waterways is my favorite river cruise company. She's going to talk to us about the Christmas markets, the European Christmas markets to be specific. And Marcy, why don't you tell us all about it and entice us with all that there is to learn about the Christmas markets.
Great, Erin. Thank you so much for having me this evening. And thank you everyone for joining us. We appreciate your time. We know time is valuable. And thanks for this wonderful journey that I'm going to get to take you on, because I'm going to take you both on the Danube River for the Christmas markets, as well as the Rhine River for the Christmas markets. So we're going to cover a whole bunch of Europe tonight. And it's exciting because this is one of my favorite times of year to travel. The markets themselves are so traditional and so amazing, and I've got lots of great footage for you to take a look at and just see really what river cruising is all about with Alma Waterways as well. I'm going to take myself off of the camera because I do a lot of this and it's very distracting when I'm doing my presentations. So I'll take myself off and then I'll bring myself back on the camera at the end. If you have any questions or any comments, please put them in chat or in questions, and we'll take care of those at the end of the presentation. Thank you so much, and let's go to the Christmas markets. Okay. Here we go. So we really are the heart of the river at Alma Waterways. If you're not familiar with who we are, we have been in business, and I'll give you all those facts, but we specifically focus on the rivers of Europe, Asia, Africa, and Egypt, meaning that we don't have any ocean bearing vessels, no ocean going vessels. So we really perfect one area of the world, and that is the rivers. And that's where our heart always has been. We have been in business since 2002. If you haven't heard of us, maybe not surprising, but we have been in business 19 years this year. Very exciting. We celebrated that anniversary in July. We are family owned, and we have been owned by the same three families since the very beginning of our company. You have Rudy Schreiner right here. This gentleman is the co-founder and president. And Rudy, oh, sorry. Let me just do that again. Sorry. There we go. And Rudy is born in Vienna. He is Austrian, and he, by trade, is an architect. So he designs our vessels very different than anyone else on the rivers. Rudy designs our vessels more shallow at the draw than any other river cruise line. And what that means to you as a guest is that we are able to maneuver the waterways or the rivers in all different types of challenging situations, such as the rivers come perfect, they come high water, they come low water. As you can imagine, the low water is always the biggest challenge, because trying to operate a ship with no water is really quite interesting. We had this situation in 2018 on the Rhine and the Danube for the first time in about 18 years. And we were the only river line that had absolutely no cancellations, and we operated our ships in 11 inches of water on the Rhine River. So as I show you these rivers, you're going to say, how could you ever do that? But we do, because Rudy's innovation. He is also the only river executive that was put into the Cruise Line International Hall of Fame for his innovation and creativity. Then we have Christine Karst. And Christine has a dual degree in tourism from East Berlin. She grew up in Dresden, Germany, and has traveled the world, and is really a wonderful connection between our guests and our advisors globally, and really works very diligently to make sure that that onboard experience is exceeding the expectation of all of our guests. And then we have the Murphy family, and the Murphy family owned Brendan Worldwide Tours, and they sold that and decided to join Rudy and Christine. They operated a land-based company. They are Irish, so they are from Ireland, and they really had the ideas of how to package vacations really, really successful. And so they brought a wealth of knowledge to Rudy and Christine, being in different aspects of the business, to complete our family and family-owned business at Alma Waterways. One thing very, very important, especially after this pandemic took place, which, by the way, we are the only river line that operated during the pandemic. We actually chartered to a German tour operator, Ehoy, and he carried over 1,800 guests from July 5th through the first week of November of last year. And what it did was it really allowed us to perfect our protocols. So we had everything in order so that when we could start sailing again, we were ready to go. But one of the most important things to Rudy was that as we saw this pandemic set in and we were reaccommodating people and moving people, we had some folks that said, oh my gosh, after this is over, who's going to remain in business? And it really is a legitimate question. It's a legitimate concern, but I want to tell you, Rudy came out immediately and said, understand that we are a debt-free company. Our company has no debt. We pay for our ships in cash. And this saves a terrific amount of dollars. And then we turn around and put those dollars back into the onboard experience. So being a debt-free company was very, very important and is important to you now. When you are working with Erin, she as well has a very established company that is going to be there for many more years ahead, as does AMA Waterways. And we want you to know that your investment is safe with us. So now I just want to go over the rivers and just give you an idea a little bit about the 6 largest rivers in Western Europe that we cover, and then our exotic destinations. So this is the Danube River. The Danube is the longest, largest river in Western Europe, more embarkation, debarkation ports than any other river. This is the only river that will offer you a consecutive 14-day sailing because of the length of the river. So if you want to see other rivers, we can certainly back those up and do 2 7-day sailings as well. But this one is a consecutive 14 days. The topography of the Danube River is very mountainous, very lush. You have some vineyards, you have some castles, but you have more palaces on the Danube River. And it's very lush in its mountainous region. Very, very beautiful river. Then you come over here and you've got the Rhine River, and the Rhine River is the second most popular, but very close to the Danube as popularity goes. And it's going to take you from the Netherlands, that beautiful floating country, all the way down into Switzerland. And of course, you have a little bit more of a French influence over here because we border France. But this river is really noted right here for something called the Rhine Gorge. This is a 26-mile journey with over 30 different castle structures. And so this river is really known for its castles and its castle history. Both of these rivers explore and explain a war history, because in both of them we are visiting Germany and a few of the other countries that were touched by the different wars. So a very beautiful river as well. This river is mountainous, it's lush, lots of vineyards, and it's more of a rocky type mountainous region. It's lush, but not quite as lush as you will find on the Danube. Then you have this beautiful little river right here called the Mosul. And to me, she's quite the lady. This river is very narrow and very curvy. So we call her the lady. And this one is breathtakingly beautiful as well. This river, to describe it to you, would be like saying, imagine a Disney book, and you look down and there's these colorful little villages at the water's edge, all brightly colored, and you look up and there is this magnificence of a castle. And it's like they took a glue gun and just stuck it right on the top of the mountains. It's a very, very beautiful river. Excuse me. It is a short river. So we combine it with the Main Canal and down the Rhine, or the Main Canal and down the Danube. And so enabling us to offer you 7, 10, and 11-day sailings on this particular itineraries. Then you come over here and you have the Seine River. This is known as the River of the Arts. We visit Monet's home, Monet's gardens in Giverny. We go to the beautiful port city of Honfleur. We have some Van Gogh influence, a little bit of Renoir influence in this area. But one of the most important things and one of the most memorable things will be the beaches of Normandy. And we are the only river line that does a private tour on the beaches of Normandy for our guests. Very moving moments. And then we come down here and we come in off the Grande Estuary, off the Atlantic, into these two little rivers called the Garonne and the Doron. And these two, as you can see, very short distance, but lots of beautiful, beautiful villages. This area is known as Bordeaux, or the old world wines of France that we experience all over the world. But a very beautiful area with lots of magnificent, I want to say there's chalets, and I want to say that some of them are almost castle-like, but beautiful, beautiful. Some of them are 1,200 years old. And these are 8 and 9 generation families that have raised these grapes in these beautiful vineyards for many, many, many years. France in this area has had vines for 2,000 years. So there is a lot of history there. And then you can combine a land destination here with Bilbao and San Sebastian. And then you come down here, and this is the Duro region. This region is, the infrastructure is quite different in this area. This area was established 2,000 years ago with the explosion of a volcano. So this river is extremely steep, and this is the only river where we don't have bicycles, because you would literally have to push it uphill and hang on to it going down. But a very, very beautiful region, very popular region. This area is known for cork, believe it or not, known for cork. But when it comes to the vineyard side of things, this area is known for the white grape. This is one of the few areas in the world where we still grow a white grape that produces port wine. So this area is really known for its world-renowned port wines. And then you come over here to the Rhone and the Saône River. And the Rhone River is a very masculine body of water for a river. It's quite wide, it's industrial. We've got beautiful cities, Tournon, and we've got Vienna, and you've got, oh my gosh, you've got Avignon, and you've got Arles, all the way down here to the coast. So it goes all the way up to Lyon. And to give you an idea of this area, it's very beautiful. This area is where you see the beautiful pictures in magazines and on postcards of the lavender fields in France. And at the same time that the lavender fields are blooming, you are also seeing the beautiful sunflower fields. So the landscape in this area is absolutely breathtaking. The other thing this area is noted for is this area is one of the #1 places in the world for gastronomy. And especially Lyon is known as the #1 city. So for your foodies and all of the good wines, absolutely a beautiful place to visit, along with all of these very historical old world cities and villages. And then you come on up, and we have a new itinerary going up the Saône. And the Saône is a very narrow river, again, quite a lady, very winding, no industry whatsoever. So lots and lots of little historic villages. Many of them in this area were not destroyed during the war. So there is a terrific amount of history. Up here where we take the ship into the Saône River, we either embark or debark in a small village called Chalon-sur-Saône. And this particular village was established in 179 AD. And you still see the city wall. I mean, lots and lots of history, very, very beautiful river. And then you come over here to Egypt, and I'm so excited. Egypt just started last week, and our guests are on board for the very first sailing on the Amadelia. And the Amadelia is a vessel that only holds 72 people. So you may not be familiar with this, but this is the Nile River. And we spend some time in Cairo and Giza going through the temples, and then we fly down and we board in Luxor on the way down to Edfu, and we go all the way down to Aswan. And then you have some optional tours that you can do here, all the way down into some of the oldest structures Egypt has. With this, you can also do pre and post in Israel, Jordan, or Dubai in the United Arab Emirates. Then we come over here to another one of my favorites. I think they're all my favorites. I hate to say that, but they are. Each one has its own personality and its own livelihood and life. But this is Southeast Asia. So this is Vietnam and Cambodia. And this year we added an extension to Thailand, so you can also visit Bangkok. This area, I know not many people are sitting at home going, gosh, I think I want to go to Vietnam. But let me tell you, if it's not on your bucket list, I hope you would add it. It was one of the most life-changing journeys in such a very positive way that I have taken anywhere in the world. The way of life, the people, what you see, what you do, how you experience the culture on the Mekong River is unbelievable. And we also see Angkor Wat. This is one of the 7 wonders of the world. This was a palace built, took 33 years, 200,000 people to complete this palace for the king. And it is in pristine condition, still standing beautifully, and an unbelievable structure. And then we come all the way down and we go to Saigon or Ho Chi Minh City. And then Africa. Not many of us think of Africa by water. Africa by water is along the Chobe River and the Chobe Game Preserve. And the Chobe River is one of the only rivers in Africa that does not ever dry up, because it is a spring-fed river. So this river is always got water. So animals migrate to this area and they never leave. So it has it was originally established for the preservation of the African elephant. We were losing about 90 per day in every city. So they were becoming extinct. So now they have 123,000 of them in this area. Absolutely amazing. Every type of animal you can imagine Mother Nature ever created lives in this area. So if Africa's on your list, don't do it without doing some time on the water. And we have 5 different Africa itineraries. So we have personalized small group guided excursions. We have some of the smallest groups that you'll see of any river line, and we divide them up by ability. So it's gentle walkers, regular walkers, and active walkers. So depending upon the pace you're feeling, you can change it every single day. Then we also have the late risers, and I have to be honest, I've never seen a late riser tour set off because I want to see as much as I possibly can when I'm in Europe. So the late risers start their day at 10 o'clock, and us early risers don't start it till 9. So it's still a wonderful time of day, and you don't have to get up at the crack of dawn to be able to do these beautiful tours. And let me remind you also that all of your tours are included in your package price. So up to 6 a day that you can choose from, and you can put in as many as you would like. Many of the other lines only give you 1 a day, and it's a walking tour, then you have to pay for everything else. We do not do that at AMA. One of the other things very important to us is health and wellness. And many of us in today's environment include this in our daily routine. Well, we want you to feel like part of our family when you're on board. We also want you to experience and have the comforts of home while you're on board. So we actually have 5 different classes per day, ranging from 30 to 45 minutes per day. And these do not conflict with any of the other tours. You do not need to make reservations. You just come up and you just participate. So an absolutely wonderful, fun thing to do. We do yoga, we do cardio, we do core stretching, strength training, we do a little bit of dancing, and every once in a while we mix them up with a little bit of champagne tasting or some chocolate tasting, so it makes it lots of fun. It has been very, very popular with our guests. We are one of the only river lines that have the Lucerne Road de Sour signature for our culinary experience, and we were inducted into this society in 2014. And as I mentioned, we are the only one that has this beautiful award. And this award basically says to you as a guest, you will indulge in 5-star dining at every single meal. With your meals in the morning, we have sparkling wine or champagne and fresh mimosas. With your lunch and dinner, we have free pouring, all you could possibly want, of premium hand-selected wines from the region that we're traveling that day, as well as international beers. And then in addition to that, an hour before dinner, we have open bar selections for a social hour. On these ships are very, very small, so we do not have storage space. So we source everything locally. So all of our herbs, our meats, our vegetables, everything is sourced locally with our local growers, local markets, and local farmers. So everything is fresh. It's wonderful. And then also one thing special about AMA, which many of the others do not have, is we have our own bakery on board. So we bake all of our own pastries every day. And let me tell you, you know, you say, oh, bread's okay, okay, but maybe it's not my favorite. By the time you leave the ship, bread will be one of your favorite things, and the good wines as well, because they are fresh every day and amazing. This is our second dining venue option on all of the ships, called the chef's table. This will accommodate 24 to 28 guests, depending upon the size of the vessel. And it is a wonderful chance for you to indulge in multi-course tastings. So it's about 9 different courses. Everything is prepared a la minute, or right at the moment on each plate for each guest, and it is served tapas style. So you have small amounts of all these beautiful things throughout these regions you're traveling, and we're pairing wines as well. In addition, maybe someone doesn't care for the wines or doesn't want to drink wine. We have a coffee cafe in this area, as well as a coffee cafe in the main lounge area of all the ships, offering you espressos, cappuccinos, lattes, international tea station, and the finest hot chocolate in the world because it's made with real Swiss chocolate, available to you 24 hours a day at absolutely no expense. Now I'm going to take you to the magic of the holidays. So we always put this in here because I love this picture, but this is just giving you an idea of some of the things of how we celebrate the holidays in Europe, or the Europeans do. This is actually duck, and that is one of their favorite things for the Thanksgiving holiday, which happens to take place, and for Christmas, over the Christmas market season. And this is the stolen bread. One thing I found out about the Christmas markets was, over here we like overdo everything with sugar. Over there, they do not. See this powdered sugar on top? That's really probably the only sugar this bread has in it. It is full of beautiful things like raisins and nuts, and it has this sweet taste, but it's the dough taste of it. It's not necessarily the sugars. And then you have, of course, here some of almost like a Black Forest cake, but this is real important up here too. This is the glühwein. And so throughout the communities in Europe and the different booths at the Christmas markets, everybody has their own recipe for glühwein. And you can purchase it, and it comes in a souvenir cup from each different market. The cup is different. I love them, I collect them, I bring them home, and I give them as gifts. And then also when family gathers for Christmas, I use those and make glühwein, which you can do too. And then this shows you the beautiful different foods that we're going to talk about, but very popular on the Danube and the Rhine in certain areas. You're going to have sausage, and you're going to have 10 different kinds of sausage, and then you're going to have some pastries, and you're going to have some potato croquettes. You will eat your way through, believe me, through Europe. It is wonderful. And this is just a beautiful picture that I have. And I want to tell you, I do believe that this is one of our markets, possibly in Budapest. Now, Budapest, let me just get there. And I want to show you our extraordinary crew. Our crew members are exceptional. They are very, very devoted, very proud, but they're also very, very warm and very wonderful with our guests, making you feel right at home when you join us. And these are the beautiful steins you can find all over the Christmas markets. So here is the ship. All of the ships have a little bit of a different, this one is the Amalea, but all of the ships have different decorations. So one of them might be decorated like this, and one will be decorated maybe in blues and golds, and one, it's just lovely. It is absolutely beautiful, and it's like these little elves over the night come in and decorate every single part of the vessel. Really, again, setting the traditional spirit that we have on board. And then we hang beautiful wreaths on each and every door. So you've got your own little tradition. And then here is a different decoration that we have on a different ship. So you can see that the ships are very, very beautifully decorated for the traditions of the season. Here we are again in the dining room. And then this is one of our side dining rooms that you can join. It seats 8 people, excuse me, I think this one seats 10 people. And these are open. You can meet new friends. You can join them in here, whatever you'd like, but you can see also the very beautiful Christmas decorations. And I love this because you see lots of nutcrackers all throughout the traditions of the season. This would be in the lounge area in the afternoons, where you would have opportunity to have snacks. And I must go ahead and tell you right up front, this will be your favorite snack ever. It is a light like an airy, light pastry. It looks like it's twisted like a pretzel, and they put peppered seasoning on it. Oh my goodness, it's amazing. And the important part to remember is we also have the gluten-free corner for all of our guests that would need special dietary requirements. So here we go. We're going to go on the Danube. So you can do 7 nights from Nuremberg or Vilshofen all the way down to Budapest, with additional extensions in Budapest and in the beautiful city of Prague in the Czech Republic. So here it is, Prague to Nuremberg, all the way down the Danube into Hungary, into Budapest. And this is Budapest, and I like to show this picture because this is the Parliament building. And this picture gives it a little bit of flair, but we take you on a trip and you get to see the entire Parliament building all lit up with the Christmas lights all throughout the city. But this is one of my favorite parts of Budapest too. All of the trolleys and all of the trains are all fully decorated like this. I have to tell you, so different. You know, I used to think I really decorated when I put a few lights in the yard and put my Christmas tree up. Oh my goodness, no. They go all out. And in Budapest, it is truly an unmatched combination of culture and traditions. And in Budapest, they have 6 Christmas markets. And they have one place called the Great Market Hall in Budapest. And it is their shopping mall, if you will. But unlike us, where we go one place for clothing and, you know, groceries over here or whatever, they do everything under the same roof. So it is 4 stories, and you can do everything from your grocery shopping to your Christmas shopping to anything you might ever think you might need at the Great Market Hall. And it also is beautifully decorated for Christmas. And this is one of the other Christmas markets in Budapest, one of the 6. See how this very different than the first one. The first one had red lights, this one has blue lights. Some of them have separate booths, some of them have adjoining booths. It just really depends on the spot. And this is really fun because this is an area in Bratislava, Slovakia. And Bratislava hosted the crowning ceremonies to 11 Hungarian kings and queens from the 1536 time frame to the 1830, and they only have one Christmas market. So Bratislava is one of my favorite places. It's a smaller city, a smaller village, but you are seeing how they are preparing all of the regional foods in this area. Yes, they probably have some sausage, but look what they're doing. They're doing what's popular in their area. And if I'm not mistaken, this is probably a little bit of duck and a little bit of turkey, and it's in the purple slaw. So all kinds of wonderful, wonderful foods that you'll get to experience along the way. And then this is the other side of the Christmas market. Those guys were on one end, and here you go is actually a rooftop viewing of the Christmas market itself. Very pretty, set amongst the old ancient architecture that you see, medieval architecture all the way to Roman architecture. And you can see how these are all adjoining, so very different than the other markets that you see. And then we go to Vienna. And Vienna is known, of course, as the city of waltzes. It offers an amazing, majestic opera house. And this is the former imperial palace of the Habsburgs. And the Habsburgs were a very wealthy family that had castles and palaces all along the Danube. I think every city they went to, they just built. And when they built massive structures, beautiful architecture, and they shared it with others when they were visiting into these countries. But we visit here, as you're looking, the St. Stephen's Cathedral was built in 1147. This structure, and this is one of the biggest markets that you find in Vienna, and Vienna has 20 Christmas markets, so many to visit, many to see. I have to tell you a quick funny story. I was in this market, and then I wandered out and I walked down the street a ways, and there was another market, very beautiful, just like this one, but a bit different. And I ran into some of the guests from the ship, and they said, well, where did you get this? I had bought these chocolate tools, if you can imagine. I thought it would be the perfect gift for the men in the family. And there was like chocolate hammers and wrenches, and oh my goodness, it was just amazing. And they said, where is it? And I said, oh, come with me, it's right here. Well, I had forgotten that I left the market where I got it and went to a different market, and I looked and I looked and I looked. I thought I'd lost my mind, but it was actually down the street at the other market. So they all have something different, something to share, and a beautiful part of the spirit of Christmas. Vienna, in the city market plots or the city square, Vienna has diagonal streets, and there's 7 of them. And Vienna is where they founded Swarovski Crystal. And the original Swarovski store, of course, has extended and grown, and it is the size of one whole block. So they take 2 blocks on either side of their building, 1 block on the north side, 1 block on the south side, or the east and west side, and they decorate them in crystal. And I have to tell you, it is one of the most breathtaking experiences because the breeze will be lightly through there and the crystals hang down and twinkle. And the next street over is chandeliers made of crystal. And then the next street past that are these beautiful, big red, all lit up balls and crowns. Each street is decorated differently. So it is, I mean, it is magical. It is just absolutely magical. And here is another one. You can see quite different. This is the Schonbrunn Palace. This is another palace located in Vienna. And this is actually takes place in the garden of the palace, if you will. And this is one of the bigger ones as well. This is a very popular one also. And then this is the Royal Palace Christmas Market. In the Royal Palace Christmas Market takes place in Dürnstein. And Dürnstein is my favorite. We actually port in Weißenkirchen or Rhine, and then we take a tour of Dürnstein. And the city was established in 1410. So you have architecture from the Roman times all the way up through something you might think might be even more modern today. And this is their beautiful Christmas market. You see, it's a little bit darker. Each one has a separate booth, but everything again is completely different. Many of them made by the local people. You can also, in this area, when we go to Dürnstein or Weißenkirchen, you will have the opportunity to visit a beautiful place called Melk. And Melk is Austria, and it is the abbey. And the abbey was given to the people of the city and the monks mainly in 1089. And it is this magnificent palace that hangs off this cliff. It was built in the 1700s, and the monks got it, as I mentioned, in 1762. And the promise was the monks must turn it into halfway of being a school, and the other half they could live in and have the cathedral there. And so to this day, it is still actually half of a school and half of it the monks live in. And it is absolutely beautiful, little tiny village. Don't see any buildings like this. It's a very small, small village, and only has 5 booths in the Christmas market. Now remember, depending upon the size of the city determines how big their Christmas market is going to be. So if there's only a city of a population 300, then they might just have 4 or 5 booths. If there's a city like Vienna, they might have 400 or 40, depending upon the market. And then Nuremberg is the largest market, one of the largest markets in the world next to Dresden, and it has 500. So you know, you get to see all of the different ones. This is Salzburg, Austria. This is a day trip that we do also. And this shows you the market in the center or the city center of Salzburg. This is the most beautiful little city. And we do, remember, Sound of Music. So we do the whole tour. You get to see and experience all of this stuff with the Sound of Music, where the Trapp family hid, all of the gardens where they were singing on the stairs, all of the history. And of course, Mozart's home. So we talk about all of that. And then you have several hours to be able to shop in the market here. The unique part, I think, of Salzburg is it's nestled in the Alps, and the city, all of the streets are walking streets only for the most part. So it's all these cobblestone little streets, all up and down these little tiny alleyways. You can smell the chocolate shops making their chocolate, the pastries out over the open fire when you're in the marketplace. Beautiful, beautiful place to see any time of year, but especially during the holiday season. And then we have Paseo. Empasau is known as the city of three rivers. It's where the Danube, the Inn, and the Ilz River meet. And we visit the St. Stephen's Cathedral here. I will tell you, I think, you know, St. Stephen's cathedrals are probably almost in every single city, but they are just built at a very different time. And we get to experience something different here. And that's a lot of Baroque and Gothic architecture. So this is a very old city as well, and it only has one Christmas market. So Paseo is small and very pretty. And then we go on to Vilshofen, and that's where we have your Oktoberfest. But you have the option of going to the Czech Republic and spending 3 nights. And if you are doing the Danube, I highly recommend this. Prague is probably one of the cleanest, most unique, most beautiful, quaint little cities you will ever go to. And look at the people, and they are out at this Christmas market. And the Christmas market in Prague is in the city center. And you're seeing part of it here, and then part of it carries on the other side over here. But a very beautiful, very quaint city with shops all the way around. You're looking at some of the old architecture, the very old architecture in the planning of the steeples. Wonderful place. Lots and lots to see in this area. Here's another picture of it from a different angle. And see, this side of the church is done in the green lights. So you've got everything that coordinates here. And then you've got, of course, the cobblestone streets that you have all throughout Europe. So now let's go to the Rhine, and you can do 7 nights on the Rhine as well, Amsterdam to Basel or reverse, upstream or downstream. Each one, the Danube is a little bit different than the Rhine, and each market's a little different than the one before. And you can do 2 nights in Lucerne and 2 nights in Zurich. Can be added before or at the end of your journey, just depending on which direction you're going on the river. So you've got Amsterdam. It comes all the way from the floating Netherlands all the way down to Basel, Switzerland. And then you go on to Lucerne or Zurich if that's what your choices are. But these little cities and villages right in here, oh my gosh. Brassage is one of the neatest, most beautiful little places. You can do a fantastic wine tasting in Freiburg, or you can come to one of my very favorite spots, and that's Rickvier. And that's this right here. They have the most incredible Christmas shops of any place I've ever been. There's only one street in, one street out. It's kind of uphill. It's cobblestones. Everything is decorated. The rooftops are moving parts, and it's nestled right under a large mountain. It is so very beautiful. This is a wonderful river as well. So Amsterdam, known for its very unique canal system. Amsterdam has about 880,000 bicycles, and people ride them year round. So whether it's snowing, they ride them. So lots and lots of bicycles. I always say, don't look at them, just keep walking and they'll miss you. But lots and lots of bicycles. And this is the canal system. And we take you all the way through the city on the canal system, looking at all of the lights in the different neighborhoods. And then from there, we go to Cologne, Germany. And this is beautiful. Look at the Cologne Cathedral. We dock right beside this. This is the Cologne Cathedral that is known for its view because it actually faces the river. This cathedral is absolutely, I think, one of the most stunning structures of architecture that you will ever see anywhere. And this city is 2,000 years old. Adjacent to the cathedral and adjacent to what you're looking at here, there is another beautiful place, a museum that has many of Picasso's masterpieces. So there's a lot of art influence in this area, a lot of vibrant culture. And Cologne really was known for the origination of Kolsch beer. And it originated here, and it is to this day shipped all over the world. So not only do they have the beautiful wines here, but they also have magnificence as far as beers are concerned. And this is their beautiful Christmas market right down in the center, right beside this beautiful cathedral. And this gives you just one of the beautiful window displays that we see there. All of the windows are decorated. They're all in a different way for a different reason, representing something different, but always traditional and always family. And then we go into Strasbourg, France. And Strasbourg, this is the capital city of the Grand Est region. You can see the beautiful Christmas tree. This is just one of many that you see throughout the city. This is actually the former seat of the European Parliament. The Gothic Cathedral Notre Dame in the city has a 142-meter spire, and we do visit and get to go by the beautiful cathedral and stop in. This particular city actually changed ownership between Germany and France 4 different times and was finally given back to France in 1944, which really, because it hopped between the two countries, made it a very multicultural situation with the treed homes, the treed buildings, as you see a lot of the woodwork, but a very, very beautiful city and a very kind of a bustling city. And again, very multicultural. And it has 6 Christmas markets. And then we go to Gingenbach. And Gingenbach is an excursion that you can do. Gingenbach has the largest Advent calendar in the world. And it's absolutely spectacular, but you can see this is a very small village nestled amongst the Alps, if you will, the mountainous region. And you see that this is their only Christmas market, and it's not very big. It maybe probably, if I remember right, has about 25 booths, but look at how beautiful it is. And the season, the traditions of the season and the spirit of the season. I used to think for many years that these were put on so that people could come visit these countries from afar and, you know, really create economy and monies into the economy. That is not it at all. It is about the local people. Every day on their way home from work, they will stop in. Once the market's open, they stop every day. Many of them every day. They stop, they have a sausage, they have a glühwein, they pick up a Christmas gift, but most of all, they meet their family and their friends. And they unite here to celebrate the season. And then you end up in Basel, Switzerland. And Basel is an amazing city, beautiful city, a very dynamic city. A city that has some Baroque architecture, a city that has some old Roman architecture, and a city that is quite multicultural, but also up and coming, very busy. You see a lot of youth here, and they settle in Basel. A very, very beautiful city with 3 Christmas markets. So again, many, many choices that you can enjoy as you are there. And then we go on into Lucerne, Switzerland, nestled amongst the Alps. Can't really see it here, but Lucerne is nestled amongst the Alps. Very beautiful, beautiful city. And it's going to have 4 different Christmas markets for you. Not real big markets. They celebrate a little bit differently than some of the other countries, not with the larger markets, but you see a few booths here and there, and you can see how they do their Christmas trees right in the middle of the streets. And then you have Zurich, and Zurich does more of the bigger Christmas markets with some of the carousel rides and those types of things, just mainly because Zurich is a bigger city. Lucerne is more of a village, if you will, but Lucerne is quite a much larger city, so you've got the Christmas markets here as well. And again, you're going to find the local foods, the local pastries, the chimney cakes. You're going to walk into the market, and one of the markets that you walk into in the Danube has 100 fresh cut Christmas trees. And you walk through these trees, and I mean, it opens, the Christmas markets, no matter where they are, will touch every one of your senses. Your smell, your sight, your sound, your touch, your taste. I mean, it's just a beautiful, beautiful time to be in Europe. And this is the lady that can take you there. This is Erin, who is our wonderful hostess this evening. Thank you, Erin, for making this possible. Erin has invested a terrific amount of time in her knowledge of places all over the world that she can help you with. And she also will help direct you to what will exceed your expectations, being whether it's a specific river or a specific event that you want to attend when you are on the rivers. So let me see if we have any questions. I am not seeing any questions, and I don't see anything in chat. Erin, did you want to say anything since we don't have any questions?
No, I just want to thank you so much for that wonderful presentation. I so want to go to the Christmas markets. I'm going to be there this year right after the Christmas markets. I'm
Okay,
leaving on the 26th of December, so I think I get there the 27th. So
right, right. And you know
but
what? You'll
yeah,
be surprised. You'll still see some of the Christmas markets.
I figured I would see some, but not
Be-
as spectacular as what you showed.
Yeah, yeah. There will be some that will still be open between the Christmas and New Year's holiday, and then there will be a few that are open after the New Year's holiday. But
Okay.
for the most part, it starts right at Thanksgiving and it goes
Mhm.
through about December 22nd. And then they take
Right.
time to be with their families for the most part. But you know, you always have a couple here and there that are stretching out the season. So that makes it
That
lots of
will
fun.
linger. Yeah.
You know, the really fun part for you is you're going to spend New Year's Eve on board. And the holiday of New Year's Eve on board a ship is breathtaking. I've done it. It's amazing. So it really can tie in. You see the beautiful market set up, but then you also get the celebration of the new year.
Right.
So I know that there's space, I believe, on your sailing. If any of the guests listening this evening want to go, it's a wonderful way to celebrate New Year's. We do spectacular stuff on the ship. So thank
Thank
you,
you.
everyone. We appreciate you. We hope that you will join us very soon for a Christmas market or possibly just another time of year on one of our beautiful ships. Erin is the specialist. She can get you all the information you need. Here is her contact information. And thank you again so much for your time. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
You're
Bye.
welcome. Bye-bye.